What's
All right,
going
God.
on?
Yes, welcome back, AIM Sports.
We are back for a second drop of week 6.
Yes,
Oh, man.
Saturday, Sunday football.
Sunday football.
Thursday just passed.
It did.
It was a good game.
It was.
It was actually was a pretty fun game.
And, hey, one of us hit.
Yeah, one of us hit.
One of us hit.
And aside from that, we will talk about Sunday later, but let's recap what happened on Thursday.
All right.
We had the game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks in division game.
That's it.
For those who've been listening continuously, know Thursdays and Irshad don't go well together.
Nope.
They don't like them.
And the hope was we changed it up this week.
I hope we did, but it didn't go that way, and he took another loss. 0-5. I'm 3-2. But let's get it. 0-6?
0-6.
0-6. Oh, damn, 0-6.
Yeah,
I was trying to give you a grace period there.
I know. I was coming in 0-5. But, the way the game went, it was a tough game.
Yeah,
it was a tough game.
It was a tough game. But, I don't know. I saw it happening. It was there. Seattle showed some life. They played some good football. And then the wide receivers just didn't really catch the ball. They had a couple of turnovers. And San Fran just Purdy Kittle connection. They just came out firing and just were lighting it up. Like they came off revenges to beat Seattle.
Yeah.
And then the game just took a skyrocket turn and went over when it was slowly looking like an under.
And I thought maybe with Mason getting injured, obviously, falling into San Francisco's injury woes, I honestly thought Mason getting injured, though, would make it A, go under.
Yeah.
B, would actually stop the 49ers in their tracks and would give the momentum back to the Seahawks to climb back. Initially, I thought that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Right? The Seahawks outscored them in the third quarter. But no, the backup quarterback Guerrero.
Oh yeah, the guy with the running back. Yep.
Yeah, he came back Guerendo. He came back and had some monster rushes. He broke out for a 76-yarder.
Yeah,
like he actually just fell right into the scheme and was killing it. So yeah, it was tough overall. Unfortunately, as Alnoor mentioned, as Thursdays do, I was another victim to it. Which means we closed out Thursday Night Football. Alnoor hit, which puts him at a well above 500, 4-2 record. I am currently at an 0-6. So we were actually just joking that for those who are listening to my call on Thursday night, you should hear it and do exactly the opposite of what I'm saying. Right? But to each their own. But onto the daily lineup for Thursday Night Football. Fantasy.
We had Brock Purdy. He had a hell of a game. 3 touchdowns.
Big game.
Best quarterback from both teams.
Easy.
We made a good decision there.
Hopefully you guys tailed.
Yeah, running back, we had Walker.
Yeah.
Walker came in. Seattle said they wanted to run the football more.
And they did.
And that's exactly what they did.
Got a
Walker took it down there. Yeah. And they had fun with it.
Yep.
And once again, with Mason getting injured, we had selected the right running back.
Yep.
Which kind of went to the wide receiver, where we thought Geno Smith on his birthday was going to light it up, but I guess he couldn't. Metcalf was there, though.
He was.
He had a couple of nice catches early. For the first possession of the game, it was a 30-yard catch for that first drive he had.
Yeah.
They were showing some life, but Debo came in and just, from Purdy, that offense was just lethal.
It was tough. I mean, plus we had that callback touchdown. That would have probably helped.
That would have helped us, too. But with that, Metcalf wasn't the top wide receiver for Thursday. And then we had Mr. Tight End.
Kittle,
Irshad, tell him.
This guy, obviously, we were anticipating a big breakout game from Kittle.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Exactly.
He picked up 2 tutties.
Yeah, 2 tutties.
He picked up a lot of receptions, a lot of yardage.
58 yards?
58 yards. That's it. He was that Brock Purdy connection that game that we are so used to seeing in the seasons prior. And he hit. So he was definitely the best tight end from the two, which leads us to our defense. We were anticipating going into the game that Seattle Seahawks were going to hold their own against the 49ers, especially how battered they were. And it would have made sense given that Mason was also injured. So, unfortunately, Seahawks couldn't contain, and they actually got lit up. So that actually didn't work to our benefit. The 49ers had the better defense.
Yes.
Which brings us to our kicker. Now, the kicker here, I think, is a justifiable loss. I can take this as a chin.
Yeah.
Because, we had... The head coach of the 49ers say that the kickers are like independent contractors.
Yep.
So he signed one at the 11th hour, and this guy was able to kick for miles and miles.
Yeah.
He did not miss. And though Myers played a decent game, the kicker for the San Francisco 49ers, actually played better. So to be honest, I don't think any of us were anticipating that, but good on him. Which led us, like I said, on Thursday Night Fantasy, we don't do points. We want to make sure we pick the right position. So we got half the team right.
Yeah.
So not too bad, but we know our anticipate is to get you all of them. So stay tuned for next week so we get you that full lineup.
And then, which leads us to my favorite part that I love, our Thursday Night Football parlay. It was looking good.
It was.
So our parlay we had was over 1.5 field goals.
Yes.
We had Mason anytime touchdown score,
Yep.
and then we had under 49.5 in the game total.
Yeah.
Field goals came with ease.
Ease.
We knew that was coming. It was there. Mason was playing a hell of a game and then just got injured off a tackle. And then he left the game, came back, and he wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Couldn't find the end zone. He had opportunities.
And they just held him down. They were winning. They just kind of iced him.
And then the under 49.5, the game was looking at the under, and Seattle decided to put on a show. And that last touchdown at the end, too, when they threw it to Lockett.
San
Francisco, lit it up. And then Seattle scored that last touchdown, too, with Lockett. Took it over, and then... So we went 1 out of 3 on our parlay.
Yeah, that was a tough one because we actually thought Mason would hit. And I think, and he was picking up yardage as though he was.
With ease.
Like, he was running through the Seattle defense. But... that's got injured. I mean, that's one of the plights here at AIM Sports and fantasy as a whole.
Yeah.
Football is a physical sport. But you're right, the under was surprising because Seattle played it right down to the very last second. They were going for that Hail Mary knowing full well they were going to lose.
They said, hey, points for, we'll take it.
Take it.
Right, points against, we already took a loss on there. Points for, we'll hug it. So make our difference, a little bit more smaller.
Exactly.
Later down the road, help us make the playoffs. But
yeah, you never know when it can come in handy.
Right, so there we go.
Which leads us to our last component of Thursday Night Football, which was the trending bet.
Yes.
So we had an anytime touchdown by Metcalf at 2.5 times your unit. It actually hit.
Yes.
And it was unfortunately brought back down because of a flag, which was tough because the Craig Wolstead, who the referee was, is notoriously known for having one of the least flagged and penalized games, and he called that one back.
Yeah.
I know probably warranted, but it was a tough call because it would have hit that bet. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes. But we are locked in for our Sunday night fantasy.
Yes.
And of course, you guys know we've been on an upswing for the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
So things are looking good. We are hitting our game of the weeks, our parlays, our trending bets. And we also have had coming off a all-time high for our Sunday night fantasy lineup.
Yes.
So Sunday night football, definitely a different breed than Thursday night football. But here we are for that bounce back. So let's get to it.
So our current records are tied.
Yes.
We're 6-7-2, both of us. 3 games coming into this week.
Yeah.
Our records are going to stay the same. Do we have the same picks or are they going to change?
I guess we'll see.
We're going to have to find out. But let's get into it. 3 games of the week. We got 3 games. Arizona versus Green Bay Packers. We got the Washington Commanders versus the Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. We're going to start off with our first game for the first window. Arizona Cardinals, Green Bay Packers in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Irshad, what do you like about this game? Who you got?
All right. So this is a big game. It's obviously in one of the first windows we talked about. Lots to say, lots to do. I think first and foremost, Kyler Murray's definitely been playing a different breed of football.
Yeah.
Something that I think a lot of people, like us, have been anticipating from him.
Well, he's healthy,
He's
right?
healthy, so... Which, it's finally that's the case, right? Because he definitely has been promising him from college, and I'm glad to see him that way. I'm going to start off by saying my pick, and I'm calling Arizona plus 5.5.
Okay.
Now there's a variety of reasons for this. For a quick analysis, Kyler Murray is definitely a healthier individual today.
For sure.
But as an underdog, generally, he's actually found more success. Mm-hmm. He is 27-16-2 against the spread.
Yeah.
And generally has been above 500 as an underdog in each of his last 6 seasons in the NFL. He is only the second most profitable quarterback against the spread as an underdog, only behind Jared Goff. Now, here's the thing.
Yes.
When the Cardinals are bigger underdogs, with Kyler, they've seen even more success. So when they are an underdog of 4 points or more, they are 13-6-2. And in this case, they're 5.5. So this actually leads it to be the case.
Yep.
Including 11-3-2 when he's on the road. So they're playing on the road. They're playing as a dog. They're playing as a dog of more than 4 points. Everything is lining up. But it doesn't just stop there. We talk about the ceiling and we talk about the floor.
Yes.
Kyler also has had great success when playing in the Eastern or Central Standard Time, where he's 17-6 against the spread, covering the spread by nearly 6 points per game.
Yeah.
Which means in this particular case, as a dog, he's actually slated to not only cover, but actually win the game. Right?
Win by either 1 or 2.
And that's it. So, hey, that's huge.
That's huge, yeah.
So I think that's super important. And, of course, we talk about the important player.
Yes, Mr. Important Player.
Which is the referee.
Yes.
Now, what's important to note is some of you guys may be looking at us saying, yo, Irshad, come on. We have Alex Kemp reffing.
Yeah.
Home teams are, they have divisional games, 14-18 on the money line. But divisional home teams, though, are 14-18 on the money line. This isn't a divisional game.
No.
So this might be misconstrued as one. It is a same conference game.
Yes.
But different divisions. So home teams in Alex Kemp's career are 47-50-1. So it's actually fairly even.
Yes.
If you think about the outlier, and sure, slight edge, of course, goes towards the road team. But I think generally, from what I'm seeing with Alex Kemp's refereeing and his trends, as well as the health of Kyler Murray and the overall consensus of the Cards against the Packers being a dog on the road, I'm taking wholeheartedly, even though Green Bay's offense is statistically a little bit better, I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals at plus 5.5.
Ooh, okay.
Alnoor, are you joining me on this one? Or are we going separate?
So this is going to be a fun game. Arizona just came out beating the San Francisco 49ers in a divisional game. They came out, played a hell of a game that nobody thought they were going to come out and win.
Yeah.
San Francisco was demolishing them in the first half. Arizona came out, won. And like you said earlier too, right? Kyle Murray, healthy. You got James Conner, the back running back. You got Harrison Jr. as your wide receiver who's clicking.
Yeah.
Then you got a veteran tight end in Ertz. Ertz. Yeah, you got Ertz from Philly, right? He came there, veteran leadership. He's there. He's playing one hell of a football. Like he's young again.
Yeah.
And that team is gelling. They're playing really good on the offense. They're playing really good on the defensive side. And they're showing everybody that when Kyle Murray is healthy, we are a dangerous team that can go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We are a team that you need to worry about because the NFC West has always been about the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. The Cardinals have always been, we're there, but we're not there. And they're showing that they're playing really, really good football. You stated a whole bunch of facts, especially Mr. Third Man, Alex Kemp playing. The home teams are 47-50 against the spread. 5.5 is a lot. I know it's going to be cold and windy in Green Bay. Arizona plays indoor. But my brother, I'm going to ride with you on this one.
Okay.
I'm taking Arizona with you, plus 5.5. This game is going to be fun to watch. See how Kyler Murray slithers through the cold in Green Bay. He might even do a Lambeau leap himself.
He might. And I think someone like Kyler Murray's kind of excitement.
Yeah, will carry him over the edge. Hell yeah, they will.
I think it's a good game overall. I think 5.5. Now, some of the betting trends that we've been seeing is that the line initially opened up at 6. It actually went down to even at one point. So that means the betting trends were actually so strong towards Arizona that the line actually moved back to even. And then since then has now gone into back to -6 and then kind of played in that -6, -5.5. So we're currently staying at -5.5 for Green Bay. But as you heard it here, Alnoor and I are both calling Arizona at plus 5.5. So that's it for your first game of the week. Lock that in, either a straight, either a parlay, however you're doing it. And this is going to be great. And if we can add one thing, the last week, Alnoor is 1-1-1.
Yeah.
I'm 2-0-1.
Yeah.
So we're feeling good.
We're feeling good.
We definitely aren't taking more losses than we are. So we're feeling good with Sunday Night Football. And this is the first lock of the week, Arizona plus 5.5.
All right.
Lock it up.
All right, which leads us to our second game.
All right.
the Commanders, the hot Commanders are coming into Baltimore to go play the Ravens. Lamar Jackson, King Henry. And, this is such an exciting game. I think this is going to be the game I watch for 1 o'clock.
For sure. I'm not red zoning. I'm watching this full game.
This is going to be a fun game. Spread here opened up as Baltimore favored by -7.
Yeah.
I don't know. This game looks a little iffy to me. I see certain things and I don't see certain things. Baltimore has always been that team where they come out, they play really good, everybody relies on them, and then when everybody's on them, yeah, Baltimore's that team, this is the year they go to the Super Bowl, they go on and play flat-footed.
Yeah.
They go on and play flat-footed and just disappoint everybody. And you could say how it was last week too, right? They were supposed to come out and beat Cincy as well too.
Yeah.
And they played a hell of a game, but then Cincy came back. And recently Baltimore's been showing that when they have a lead or are playing comfortable football, they take their foot off the gas and allow the other team to come back.
They do.
And here you have a hot Washington team in rookie quarterback Daniels, who's playing almost similar to Lamar Jackson, who's having a career rookie year.
Yeah.
He's played amazing.
Yes.
It's like he's played in the NFL before.
Their quarterback rating is identical.
Exactly.
Identical.
And they both love to run the football. They both love to throw the football.
It's like a mini LJ.
It's a mini version of himself.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really, really fun to watch the game. Lamar Jackson, you can never count him out. King Henry, you can never count him out. +7, -7. It's I don't know. I like the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
They're gonna come out in that division. They're gonna go have fun. Listen, there's teams that have lost by leading by more than 10 points since 2020, home and away, and the Baltimore Ravens are the second most behind 49ers, who have 13. So if basically saying if Baltimore goes up by 10 points or more, Washington should come back and win this game.
Yeah.
And that's the football that Baltimore does, right?
Yeah.
They come out playing that game when you least expect it. And that's what kind of sucks when people do that. But it's just one of those where it's kind of tough. Another history we could say it too. Road underdogs who don't make the playoffs the year prior, which was Washington.
Yeah.
Because they haven't really been the best. Since 2019, they are 55% against the spread. And we're looking at a size of 600 plus games. And in this year alone, they're 22-15 against the spread.
Damn. Yeah.
22-15 against the spread. And then we got Mr. Third Man, who's for them too. Who's refereeing that game? Land Clark?
This game is Land Clark.
Yes, Mr. Land Clark. You look at him, he doesn't like home teams.
Yeah.
25, 37-1 against the spread in his career.
That's crazy.
And then you got to also think about it too, right? Baltimore also is penalized a lot.
Yeah, they are.
And for some reason at home, they don't play as well as they play on the road for some reason. Even watching them.
Yeah.
They don't have that groove, that impact. They get themselves into trouble, penalize themselves, send them back. And Washington's they're a rookie quarterback with a young team with a lot of firepower. My pick for this game is Washington's +7.
That's a solid pick.
I think Baltimore was going to win the game, but 7 is a lot of points.
Yeah, seven's a lot.
And you see Mr. Rookie Daniels coming into Baltimore, and he goes and puts on a show for Lamar Jackson. He's also making a case for his name too.
Yeah,
Rookie of the Year. Maybe he could be not first, but in a long time, Rookie of the Year will also win MVP.
Oh, potentially.
The way he's been playing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Washington +7. You let me know, Irshad, what you like.
I think you mentioned a lot of good points there, man. I think obviously Land Clark, you talk about an important player that is still vital on this game.
Yep.
Is the referee, and home teams, like you said, he doesn't really favor home teams all too much. Which is interesting because Washington and Ravens, like you said, they like Lamar Jackson as well as Jaden Daniels play very similar. They're both let's throw, we can run, we have options, and it keeps the defense on their toes. These are both high-powered offenses. This is first in the NFC versus first in the AFC North versus NFC East, sorry, and AFC North. So there's definitely a lot to kind of say here. So quarterback rating, almost identical. High-powered offense. These guys are top 5 total yard offenses in the entire league.
Yep.
Baltimore's first, Washington's fourth. All right. Passing, 9th for Baltimore, 14th for Washington. Rushing yards, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Baltimore and Washington. Points 1 and 2. Washington and Baltimore.
Yeah.
The third down conversion. First and third, Washington and Baltimore. So their offenses are high powered.
Yeah.
High powered.
Shootouts.
Like, it's going to be unreal. Now, where things get a little iffy on both sides is on their defenses. Their defenses, yes, generally formidable for sure. Besides Baltimore's rushing defense that is number 1 in the league, they're pretty much on the lower pack of things.
Yeah.
Right? Which leads me to believe that this, in fact, will be a very high-powered offense.
Yeah.
Or a high-powered matchup. But, Alnoor, to your point, Baltimore and Lamar Jackson are literally known as the inability to maybe get that lead, secure that lead, and hold that lead.
Yeah.
They love to get out ahead. They love to show that firepower. But for some reason, the gas steps off the pedal.
Yeah.
Like, why? And their defense is the conversation around that, right? So I do think that, Lamar Jackson will have that firepower. Jane Daniels will have that firepower, but it will not be, held intact.
Yeah.
And this obviously goes to show Lamar Jackson has faced an NFC 22 times in his career.
Okay.
He is 21-1 straight up.
Oh, wow. Okay. That means
straight up.
He comes out and wins games.
So he comes out and wins games, no doubt. But of those games, he's only 11-11 against the spread. He's 500 in those games.
Ooh.
So take that in. So, he's won practically every single game except one.
Yeah.
But he has not covered the spread in half his games.
Yeah.
Okay? This is obviously a bit of a, exactly what we're trying to convey, and it kind of corroborates that, is that, and it really emphasizes the point that the Ravens come out and win games.
Mm-hmm.
But they take the most difficult route to do that. Right? Like, they're stressing. They're, you know what I mean? Like, then Lamar Jackson has to go out and put on a show. Derrick Henry's running on overdrive. And this is how you burn tires. This is how you get injured. You have to have everybody playing equal football. You have to have Lamar Jackson running the offense with King Henry and the Zay Flowers and the rest of the core. Great. But you also got to have the defense step up. You can't have 80-point games.
Yeah, you
can't do that. Right? Someone's going to get hurt, and it's not going to look good. Right? So, yes, you have the defense being held down by the rushing defense being held down by the Ravens. Great. But at the same token, as a favorite of 3 points or less or an underdog, Lamar Jackson is 25-5 against the spread in the regular season. So in this case, he is a favorite, but of 7 points or more. 7 points in this case.
Yes.
So when Lamar is favored by more than 3 points, he is 21-31 against the spread. So when he's actually favored to demolish a team, he typically underperforms in the spread department.
Yeah.
So what that essentially means is, like we echoed earlier, do we think, or I'll speak for myself here, do I think the Ravens are going to win tomorrow? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Right? Based on what I'm reading and based on what the refereeing and based on all that, yeah.
Plus
do I think they're going to cover? I don't know. I think Washington will make a push.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be either Washington makes a push and claws back.
Yeah.
Maybe tries to do an onside kick, is not successful, and
they might go 2-point conversion.
Or do 2-point conversion, try to not get it. Something along those lines. Or the Ravens will just start from behind from the get-go and just keep coming, but they will never actually get out ahead to a point where they're covering that 7.
Yeah.
So, all to say, Alnoor, I'm agreeing with you.
Yes.
Washington plus 7.
Let's go.
If you're going to ask me, I think off the record, Baltimore's going to win.
Yep.
But officially, I think Washington's going to hold that cover at plus 7. Hopefully, they do it more than 7. Of course.
We don't want to push. We had 2 pushes.
We've had 2 pushes in the last 2 weeks. So man. We want the dub.
Let's see.
There you heard it here first. Washington plus 7 for tomorrow's game against Baltimore.
All right, that's going to be fun to watch. Fun to watch.
That's
which now leads us to our last game of the week.
That's it.
Second window
Again.
This should be the third window, or even like a Monday night game,
or a primetime game.
This should be a primetime game, but we're gonna go with the Detroit Lions versus Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Opening line -3.5 Detroit on the road. Tom Brady at
home.
That's home. So Detroit's favorite on the road.
Yes.
-3.5 with Tom Brady in the booth broadcasting.
Yes.
And when Tom Brady's broadcasting, people love to show off their football skills and play some good football.
Of course.
But this is going to be a fun game to watch where we have John Hussey as the official third man. Referee. Official referee, Mr. Sideman, that's there. That causes bare havoc when least expected. We got John Hussey. Irshad, tell me what you like, but don't give your pick. Tell me what you see in this game.
So, I see a couple of things. All right? So, let's start with Jared Goff.
Okay.
All right? So, let's start with the basic. So, Lions are coming off extended rest. Coming off a bye week. They're obviously a very formidable team. We know this. They're playing against a Cowboys where, I mentioned it in our previous episodes. I don't think Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott after securing the bag, and the entire kind of front office has necessarily a good alignment as to how the future of this team is going to work. I feel like when they're winning games, it's, either at the expense of team chemistry, at the expense of injuries, at the expense of just a poor outing altogether, right? For a team like this, I think the Cowboys should easily be not second in the NFC East. I think they should be arguably top 3 in the entire league, right? And I think they were poised to be one of the Super Bowl contenders. But they're going up against a Detroit Lions that is well rested. You have Jared Goff that is also playing a great deal of good football. And I say great relative to Dak Prescott. They have more or less the same quarterback rating. But where things get a little interesting is when you dissect their offense. Now, on the rushing, we obviously know some of the plight that the Cowboys are facing. Is it Rico? Is it Zeke? We don't know. They kind of rotate. I think they're trying to discover that. In the receiving department, we've obviously seen CD wants the ball more. We saw the game 2 games ago where he's fighting for the ball, kind of chirping a little bit to Dak Prescott. Hey, brotherly love, you fight, you have to get it out. Right? That happens. But when it comes to the Lions offense, I think they have a more versatile, well-rounded that'll force the Cowboys to spread their defense. With rushing, you have Montgomery, you have Gibbs, both starting running back caliber
for sure
that are doing great deal of groundwork, 50-50 ball share. And then on receiving, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, you have Williams, and you have the second-year tight end who had a breakout season last year, have yet to deliver this year at the scale that we know he can. So imagine when he actually pops off with Sam Laporta. Okay, you have Micah Parsons in the defense with the Cowboys who's out, so you do lose a strong defensive caliber, right? Now, at the same token, offensively, you have a very high-powered offense with the Lions. You have a good defense with the Cowboys, and they are playing in Arlington. So I think generally what I'm seeing is the offense is going to outpace the defense, especially with the loss of Micah Parsons in that game. But now when you look at it from the element of Goff playing indoor and outdoor, because he's played with a few teams, right? Indoor, he is 38-18 against the spread, which is exactly where they're playing tomorrow. Right? 28-10 against the spread in the last 4 seasons. Okay? But everybody knows that teams coming off a bye week or extended rest, if you will, things can change. Right? It's almost like the uncertainty of Thursday Night Football. But how has he done? Well, after extended rest, he's 21-10-1 straight up, but more importantly, 19-11-2 against the spread, which means he's almost twice as likely to actually cover the spread. Now, he has covered the spread in the 7 straight games, including 14-4 against the spread since 2020. Which is the best in the NFL. Okay, he has covered 4 straight road games, and he is 13-3 against the spread in his last 16. Okay, backing Jared Goff as a favorite. Now, in this case, they are a favorite. Since the start of last season, they are 6-1 against the spread. So no matter how you cut it, the Lions have always, for the most part, covered the spread since 2022. Through and through, okay? They have won 9 consecutive games against the spread after a straight-up loss dating back to 2022. And he being the quarterback, Jared Goff, 18-8 against the spread with the Lions after straight up lost the game before. So there is a lot going toward the Lions' favor through and through. Dak, on the other hand,
yes.
we talk about the ceiling and the floor.
Yep.
Dak, on the other hand, he does well versus bad teams.
Yes.
Okay, so when teams are above 500 and under 500. Here's the thing, though. I'm going to completely ignore the statistic under 500. You want to know why? Because the Lions, who they play tomorrow, are not under 500. They're above 500. And when Dak plays against teams that are above 500, he is 19-33 against the spread. So he is almost twice as likely not to cover against teams above 500. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
And, of course, Alnoor, you mentioned it, the GOAT himself is still working on his broadcasting career.
Yeah.
And he will be calling this game.
Might be his last game.
Might be. Oh, really?
Yeah, because news came out that he might be part ownership of, I think, the Raiders.
Oh, right.
So if he becomes part ownership, he can't broadcast. But that meeting's on Tuesday. So this might be his last game.
Might be his last game, which means he'd be doing his 6th and potential final game.
Yeah.
But up until thus far, when the GOAT, Mr. Brady, has been broadcasting in the booth, road teams are 4-1 straight up against the spread, and underdogs are 4-1 straight up against the spread. Now, of course, in this case, after today, that number will shift because the road team also happens to be a favorite. So who actually gets the call, we don't know. But I have my pick.
Yeah.
And I know the referee, Mr. Lan Clark.
No, it's John Hussey.
Oh, sorry, John Hussey. Apologies.
John
Hussey favors.
Oh, he favors the home team.
He favors the home team. Almost twice as likely to call them on the money line. And almost twice as likely to call them against the spread.
Yeah.
Right? In 2023, with John Hussey at the helm, home teams are 13-3-1 against the spread. So a very important third player is in play here.
Yes, he is.
But based on what I'm seeing generally with John Hussey, what I'm seeing with other referees' trends, and with the NFL as a whole, especially in light of some of these more historical trends with Dak and Goff, and the current trends here and today, as well as the injuries, I have my pick. But before I share my pick on this game, Alnoor, I'll throw it to you first. Who is your call, based on everything that I've said, and maybe anything you want to add?
Yeah.
Who are you taking? And then I'll share mine with you.
Well, you brought up a lot of valid points, a lot of good points. Mr. Third Man himself, Mr. Brady too. Play a lot of factors in there. But then there's also people who present these players, who tell them what to do, what plays to do, which is the coach himself. So, Mr. McCarthy is one of like the top coaches to have a winning percentage in September. Mm-hmm. He's up there.
But we're in October.
We're in October, yes. But it says in early season success, Mike McCarthy, in September and October, McCarthy is 72-50-3 against the spread. The third best mark in the last 20 years by any coach, behind Bill Belichick and Sean Payton. So, you have the coach himself, you got the referee himself favoring the home teams. The home team is covering their... Yes, I know Dak Prescott doesn't play a lot of good football when it comes down to it. Right? They also had a delay, in Pittsburgh where they had to play, came out and won that game. But John Hussey is fun. He's going to have fun with the home team. You got the GOAT himself, Brady, you said, in the booth. And you said, right, 4-1 for the road team. Yeah. But then 4-1 for the underdog. I like the underdog here. And this is like the third Dallas game that he's he's broadcasted. Tom Brady.
Yeah. Third Dallas game?
I believe it's a third Dallas game.
Yeah, he's called Cowboys and Browns.
Week
he
1.
Called Saints and Cowboys.
Yeah.
He's called Raven and Cowboys.
Yeah.
This will be his 4th game.
Okay. And the Cowboys have only won one of those 3 games.
Jeez.
So the Cowboys have beat the Browns week 1. Then they lost to the Saints in week 2. We had that pick here. We had the Saints to cover that. And then we also had the Ravens to cover too, where they won that game where the Cowboys almost came back. And then now this is the third game.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the fourth game.
Fourth Cowboys game.
Fourth Cowboys game. Last game for Brady potentially. 3.5 points. That's too much for me. I'll take the Dallas Cowboys plus 3.5.
You're taking Dallas, eh?
Taking Dallas Cowboys plus 3.5.
See,
America's team.
America's team in Arlington. I'm sorry. I love Texas. I love America. But, oh, my God, I got to go with the Lions. I think at the end of the day, Detroit plays indoors.
Yeah.
Dallas plays indoors. So does Dallas. So does Dallas. But as I'm saying, I think Jared Goff is going to be more at home than people anticipate. I think this is literally just saying, hey, I'm literally just going to go play in a different dome. That's all it is.
But you have John Hussey who might be calling random plays on him.
But at the same time, I'm taking it from the notion that on Thursday, and I get it, Thursday Night Football. On Thursday, we saw arguably one of the most least...
penalized or
the referee with one of the most... Leniency, right, when it comes to flags. Throw a flag quite often in that game, and definitely above average. So I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, John Hussey might look to change things up a little bit. Maybe add a little extra ticker on the away team side of things, and maybe call a little bit extra for the Detroit Lions. So I'm rolling with the Detroit Lions on this one. Right. We are going a little separate on this.
Another fact I'll give you too for the Cowboys. In the last 6 games, the Cowboys have beat them. They're 11-3 straight up since 2003.
Yeah.
And John Hussey's gonna make it 12-3 this week.
All right, I think it's gonna be 11-4, but hey, you know.
Listen, I'm saying straight up here.
Straight up, okay.
But Cowboys will cover the spread. Cowboys cover the spread.
I think Sam Laporta is slated for a breakup tomorrow. I think it's great to see. But hey, you heard it here.
Yes,
we're locking it in. I mean, it's not a
we got sports episode. We got the first two together. But we always have to battle one.
We gotta do one. It's not an AIM Sports. We don't have to keep you guys thinking a little bit, you know. So yeah, if you guys are rolling with Alnoor, he's calling Dallas plus 3.5.
Yep.
If you guys are rolling with me on Sunday Night Football, I'm calling Detroit minus 3.5. Stay tuned. Lock it up. Like we said, either parlay or straight. We'll do a quick overview of our game of the weeks as we kind of get to the end. But on to the prop side of things.
Yes.
Let's get into the fun side. This is Alnoor's favorite side right here.
All right. So what do we have first? Trending bets?
Let's do trending bet first.
All right.
Which at AIM Sports, our trending bet is our anytime touchdown.
Yes.
So for our anytime touchdown, we are picking an individual who's been having a hot hand lately.
Yeah.
Who's been rushing, who had a breakout game last game. Who is starting to, I think, not only come out as the lead running back, but I think coming out as a actual formidable first point of option for offense.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be important. And, without saying his name, he is, shout out Canada. Because he is Canadian.
Yes.
And though the team is underwhelming this year, he himself is stepping up big.
He is, yeah.
So who is that person, Alnoor?
We got the running back from the Carolina Panthers and Chuba Hubbard.
That's
Chuba Hubbard, anytime touchdown score, it's 1.95 times your unit.
That's huge.
That's actually huge. That's basically almost double your unit.
For anytime touchdown for a lead running back?
And they're playing a division game against Atlanta Falcons.
At home? After a bye?
Yeah, exactly. They're coming out hot, and they're going to run the football with this guy.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, he's finding the end zone.
And they probably made some new plays, probably rejigged it a little bit.
He might even be first touchdown scorer of the game, too, if you want to sprinkle on that, too.
Oh, yeah.
But he's scoring a touchdown.
Oh, for sure. And to help confirm that even further,
let them know.
Atlanta Falcons have the third worst rushing defense in the entire league.
Yep.
So, yes, lock in Chuba Hubbard. Yeah. Lock in Mr. Canada.
Yeah.
1.95. You Americans that are listening, this is our chance to repay you back.
Yes.
Here is Mr. Canada helping locking that in. So, anytime touchdown, Chuba Hubbard, 1.95 times your unit. Lock it in. Let's get it.
All right, let's go. That's going to be fun to watch. That's in the second window, too, at 4:25 p.m. Eastern time. So you have to wait a little bit for that one.
That's it.
Which now leads us to, should we switch it up this time?
Switch it up.
We'll switch it up. We usually save my favorite part, the 3-leg parlay, for the end. But we're going to go ahead and do that first. And we'll leave them for our Sunday fantasy lineup last. 3-leg parlay. Mm-hmm. Usually, for the past couple of weeks, we've been having a trend where we pick the 3 same kind of options.
Yeah.
Either rushing yards, touchdown scores, receiving yards, pass completions, field goals. But we try to switch it up this week.
Yeah.
We're picking 3 different things.
Completely.
It could be money line, receptions. It could be a touchdown score, field goals, fumbles, picks, sacks. It could be a whole bunch. Everything's on the table here. First leg
parlay, so long as it makes sense.
So long as it makes sense. Well, it better make sense.
It has to.
But first leg of our parlay, we got a team that should come out outright and win are the Houston Texans.
Straight up money line.
Like, there's nothing to say for it. They're going to win the game.
Yes.
If you have early payouts on certain sports books, good for you. Maybe it'll come in handy.
Yeah.
But Houston money line, first leg.
Yep.
Second leg of the parlay, Irshad, what do we have?
We're opting to the actual anytime touchdown book of things. So we're picking another anytime touchdown, which is Saquon Barkley from the Philadelphia Eagles, who are also coming off a bye.
Yeah.
Which means, similar to Chuba Hubbard, we believe that Philadelphia, playing kind of some of the games they're playing, are going to rejig some of their offensive structure. Yes, there's going to be some ball being spread around, because I think also you have some people coming back. A.J. Brown's coming back.
Well, also leads the room for him to run down the middle.
It does. It spreads the defense a little bit more. Right, now the safeties will have to actually go further deeper.
Yeah.
That actually can allow for a good 10, 20-yard gain.
Yeah.
So Saquon, anytime touchdown, lock that in for part 2 of our parlay. What's our last one?
The last one's a little fun one. We've been recently loving our field goals here.
Yes.
For the same game, as our trending bet, we'll have Chuba Hubbard scoring a touchdown. But this game will also produce over 2.5 field goals.
Yes.
The game, Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons. We got Young Koo over 2.5 field goals, who's going to kick some field goals. And the Carolina, who's a team who just needs to put up points. And they've been kicking field goals every game.
Yeah.
And 2.5 is a nice value. So over 2.5 field goals in the Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons game, which leads us to our total of 2.81 times your unit for all 3 to hit.
That's solid.
So you got 2 slates at 1 o'clock, and then you got the last one at 4 o'clock to find out.
That's perfect.
So by primetime game, 8 o'clock, between the Giants and Cincy, you could have some money, sprinkle and have some fun with it and make a little extra.
Yes, you could. And honestly, not a bad way to get Thanksgiving started. In Canada. Thanksgiving up here in Canada. Get it started, because a huge 3-leg parlay, 2.81 for what is essentially a very, very good probability for it to happen. So lock that in, ladies and gentlemen. That's your 3-leg parlay. And this brings us to our...
Let him know again what the 3-leg parlay is, because we feel so good about it.
This was a solid one.
Tell him again what we took.
So, to wrap up on 3-leg parlay, because almost feeling this parlay.
I'm really feeling
this parlay. So we got Houston money line.
Yes.
Okay. We got Mr. Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown, and then we got your over 2.5 total field goals for the Atlanta Falcons and Carolina Panthers game.
There you go.
So lock that in. 2.81 times your unit. Different sports books vary, but lock it in. It's gonna be a dub. We want you guys to eat with us.
Yes.
It's gonna be a good time. Now, getting into our fantasy lineups.
Yes.
This is where, as you guys know, we like to create, based on ESPN, PPR, an ideal fantasy lineup for Sunday and Monday football. Our goal is to get you over the century marker. We are coming off an all-time high from last week, where we hit nearly 134 points.
Yeah, I believe it was.
All time. That was a huge, huge hit. So we are going to be getting right into it for this week. 132 points.
132 points, sorry.
So we are going to be getting in our goals. Let's see if we can get it higher and higher and higher.
Yes, see.
So to kick it off, I'll start off by saying our quarterback is none other than Mr. Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
We believe that Joe Burrow against the Bengals is going to come out swinging. Why? Because they are 1-4. This is a cross-conference game. They need to steal a win so that they're able to ensure that their wild card, the wild card chances are still alive. They're 1-4. Burrow is gonna come out swinging. He's gonna be finding everybody, whether check down to Zach Moss or swinging the ball to Jamar Chase and really piling onto that 5 TDs that he currently has. All to say, Burrow's been throwing really, really great.
Yeah.
12 TDs across the last few games and only 2 picks. So we think that he's going to continue that momentum against a very, very light Giants defense. Yes, they're playing in New York, and yes, they have a very relatively solid defense, but we think Burrow's going to go out and light them up. So we got Joe Burrow for QB.
All right. Now, which leads us to our running backs. We got a big game. It was part of our game of the week. We're taking King Henry. Mm-hmm. We think Baltimore run. They're first in the league in running. King Henry cannot be stopped right now. His name speaks for himself. That's why they call him King Henry.
Yep.
We think he's going to light up Washington Commanders defense, run for at least a touchdown. He should get a touchdown, give us a lot of points for fantasy, and it's just King Henry, lock that one in, which leads us to our second running back from another game of the week we have between the Detroit Lions and Dallas Cowboys. We got Gibbs. We got Jamar Gibbs, him and Montgomery play every other drive.
Yeah.
But I feel after Montgomery signed the bag, he may be a little, laid back a little.
A little complacent, yeah.
Yeah, just, I don't want to get injured. I just got paid. Give Gibbs the opportunity. We think Gibbs is going to have a monster game.
Yeah.
Lock it in for a running back, which leads us to our 2 wide receivers that Irshad will let you know what we have.
So our 2 wide receivers are picking up first one is from the 1 p.m. games against the New Orleans Saints. It is going to be a divisional matchup. We obviously, I think, saw this earlier where we had called a wide receiver from the Buccaneers, and we see him being a touchdown hawk. That is Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Honestly, at this point, Baker Mayfield just throws it up in the end zone.
His favorite target.
It is. And Evans just picks up. Now, we know Godwin tends to be the go-to for yardage, but Evan tends to be the go-to for touchdowns.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's got a large frame, and Baker Mayfield loves to just throw it up and let Evans go grab it. So there you go. Lock it in, Mike Evans, as one of our wide receivers. Our second wide receiver is going to be from where we mentioned another high-powered offense coming from some of the rookies' best work that we've seen thus far, and that is from the Washington Commanders, Terry McLaurin. He is playing some amazing wide receiver football. He has only 1 drop in his last 5 games.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 13 points a catch of yardage per catch. He's being targeted 36 times. So in the last 5 games, that's well over 6 targets per game. He's capitalizing on them, and he's making big moves. So we anticipate, just given how fast-paced this game is, how the over-under is anticipated to be. Right now, they have slated it for 51.5, which means that it's going to be a big back and forth, and we believe that McLaurin is going to be at the forefront, making and moving those points forward. So lock that in.
There you go. And then we got our tight end position, which my brother really loves this guy. What a good rookie year.
Yeah, man.
He's on the same game of the week. This guy is going to need to have a big game. If Detroit wants to win, we got Sam Laporta.
He has to.
He has to come out. He got injured last year. He came out. This is going to be his breakout game.
I think so.
We feel it here.
And it's going to be in the dome.
Yep.
After a long week, like an extended rest.
Yes.
And he's playing somewhere warm.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be super beneficial in my opinion. I think Jared Goff is going to find his best target. And I think it's going to be, important to really capitalize if they are really trying to win. Through and through. And I think it's going to be important to get Laporta involved.
Exactly.
But for every offense,
there got to be a defense.
There's got to be a defense.
And we got a defense here. We're taking the Houston Texans.
Yes.
We got New England here, who still haven't found their identity on who their quarterback is.
No.
They're letting, May come in now for Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
Even him, when he was playing last year too, he didn't know how to throw the football properly, where to throw it, how to do it. He's throwing a pick tomorrow. Texans are going to take advantage. That defense is going to pile a mountain of sacks on him.
Yeah.
Houston Texans are going to run all over New England tomorrow.
Oh, for sure.
Hence, we have them on our parlay for money line.
Exactly.
Houston defense, lock it in.
There you go.
Which leads us to
a very important position that I feel gets underrated sometimes.
Still always underrated.
Is the kicker.
Yep.
All right.
Mr. Kicker himself.
So we are going to be opting for a Monday night game as our kicker. From the Buffalo Bills, we are picking Mr. Tyler Bass.
Yes.
So this is our quick frame around why we're picking Tyler Bass and why we're waiting for Buffalo to do it. Right now, as we know, the Jets fired Robert Saleh.
Yes.
So you lost the commander-in-chief and the coach for the New York Jets, who, is running Aaron Rodgers and that offense. Right now, they've promoted the defensive coordinator as the interim head coach. So we know that it's going to be potentially a more defensively focused approach to the Jets football. That may give the offensive coordinator and even Aaron Rodgers a little bit more carte blanche to try new things. So what will happen is you may have Breece Hall playing some different style of football. You may have Aaron Rodgers throwing a little bit more. But one thing that we'll know for sure is if the defense clamping down.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
And you have someone like Buffalo that has had good games, has had bad games. We anticipate to keep the game close. They're going to employ Tyler Bass's services to keep kicking, to either extend the lead, stay in the game, or otherwise. And Bass will have to close. And given that Buffalo and New York relatively have the same kind of climate, they both kind of play outdoors. The temperature shouldn't actually impact either of the teams, especially not Tyler Bass. And we think Tyler Bass is going to hold it down for the rest of the week. So
there we go.
You heard it here. The daily lineup for Sunday night fantasy football. Alnoor, you want to run them through? Summarize that up for them.
All right, here we go. Quarterback Joe Burrow. He's going to throw over 2 touchdowns, going to destroy the Giants' defense. We got Derrick Henry as running back, run all over the Commanders. 100 yards, touchdown. That's going to be beautiful. We got Gibbs from Detroit. Same thing, going to run around all over Dallas Cowboys. Put on a show there. Wide receiver, we got Evans. He's Mr. Touchdown. That's Mayfield's favorite target. You know that's going to happen there. We got McLaurin again for Washington. Daniel's favorite target, who leads the team in receiving. That's going to be fun to watch too. Tight end, you got Laporta. That's my brother's favorite player right now in the tight end position. He's going to have a breakout day tomorrow. We got the Texas defense, and we got Bass as our kicker. That's our fantasy now for Sunday.
I'm feeling we're gonna surpass the 132 point mark.
I think we're gonna do a lot of good things this week. So. I think our parlay will hit. Our fantasy lineup past the century mark, highest points of the season.
Trending
bet's gonna have fun. It's just gonna be that one game where we're against each other. Hopefully, just the game doesn't happen or something. I don't know.
You never know. This one's a 0.5er, so there's gonna be a win or a loss here.
No push there, yeah.
So that's where we're gonna be interesting. So to sum up our game of the weeks, because we know that's where a majority of you guys tune in. We have the Arizona and Green Bay game, where we both are calling Arizona plus 5.5. Our second game of the week is Washington versus Baltimore, where we're both calling Washington plus 7. Then we have Detroit versus Dallas, where my brother Alnoor is calling Dallas plus 3.5, and I'm calling Detroit minus 3.5. We have Hubbard as a trending bet. We have our 3-leg parlay consisting of Houston money line, Saquon anytime touchdown, and total field goals over 2.5 for the Falcons and Panthers game.
Correct.
And then, as my brother mentioned, our Sunday night fantasy football is locked for well over 135 points that we anticipate. Joe Burrow at quarterback, Henry and Gibbs as running back, Evans and McLaurin as wide receiver, Laporta as tight end, Texans as your defense, and Bass as your kicker.
Don't forget to lock in the same game parlay. 2.81 times your unit.
That's it.
That's how confident I feel in
this.
That's
it. That's going to be a big game.
And there you have it. AIM Sports, Sunday football. Get your popcorn ready. Week 6. It's going to be fun.
It's it.
It's spooky month. Popcorn ready.
And hey, it's Thanksgiving weekend up here in Canada.
Get your turkey out, mashed potatoes.
That's it. Watch it with the family.
Enjoy.
We know you guys are off on Monday, so definitely tune in for Sunday night.
There you go. You heard it here from AIM Sports. We love you guys for tuning in. Take advantage of our picks. Have fun with it. Watch some football. Place the bets whatever you can afford. Use your sports bookie responsibly. From myself, Alnoor, and my brother Irshad, we're out. Peace.